So, good stuff. My last call postponed. So, I get to go home. Granted, I'm 85 miles away from home or something like that. So, on the most ridiculous, miserable stretch of highway in the United States of America known today, which is I-95 corridor. I think I'm 6 miles from New York. So I'm way down on the southern coast. I'm in a city called Norwalk, which it has a lot of money in it, whatever. I'm doing work on two buildings that actually this hospital, you can't really see it, but they owned them. They sold them to my client because they wanted out of the building business. And lo and behold, one 1963 Juan McLean 92 series, the only one in existence. And I get the lucky job of converting it. So, damn, that dude was floating. So yeah, it's 8:20. It's a fairly normal day. Usually, I don't know, I think I get done around between 6 and 8 on a normal day. This sucks because I'm an hour and a half away from home, something like that. So I'm not telling you that that's the best thing ever, but we had a cold snap last week. I didn't really post anything. It lasted 4 days or something like that, maybe 5. And in that 5 days, Anna and I logged in. I know it was 30 calls. It was 30 calls in like 4 or 5 days. And I do all the calls by myself. And these calls weren't 15 minutes, turn on a switch, turn off a switch. Some of these were taking apart burners and diagnosing electrical issues and dealing with super duper plugged boiler feed pumps, controllers, things like that. So each call's like 3, 4, 5 hours, and we did 30 of them. I mean, a couple of them were easy, but not by that much, trust me. But this is kind of what we go through on a typical heating season. Usually didn't start this early. That was a little freak of nature cold blast, and every boiler that we serviced failed its stress test miserably. And a lot of it's because you have to remember, with what I do for work, I'm in a real niche market, and the majority of that market is I'm the only one stupid enough to work on a lot of this equipment. A lot of the boilers I deal with are, like I said, the old Juan McLean 92, old Smith 28s, old Smith 19s. I have a couple fire tube boilers, some old Juan McLean 88s I got that I take care of, some old Peerless boilers, some Peerless 14 sections. I mean, these things are installed in the 60s, the 70s. If you get lucky, you'll run into like a Smith 28 that was changed in the 80s or 90s. So a lot of these boilers, and keep in mind, a lot of these boilers were severely mistreated and not maintained. And it just so happens that I absolutely love what I do and I love this work. So I really take it to heart, and I really strive to learn all this stuff. Especially steam. I have a lot of steam in the city, and I don't know what the problem is. There's some guys that work on steam, but I always seem to end up with it. I'm not really sure how I end up with it, but regardless of that, I do a lot of work on bigger steam stuff. I also have residential clients, don't get me wrong. It's just the way Firebird has gone since it started was more in the commercial market. I even have a couple of chillers I service. I have some big old 3-phase pressure boosters I deal with. We have a hotel in downtown New Haven, which is a whole separate client that we picked up, and that's an interesting story. But the short story is I was there during the new construction of the hotel, and for whatever reason they found me and asked me to do service there. So that's a lot of VTAC stuff, a lot of variable VFD, very frequency drives, things like that. So it's kind of cool because I work with some of the oldest stuff in New England. I mean, I'm talking Moet vapor systems. There's a Paul vacuum system that we deal with, and as far as steam goes, and we even have a gravity hot water system in Waterbury with a Honeywell #1. I think it's called a heat compensator, heat anticipator. Anyways, it's a pot of mercury, and we work on all that stuff all the way up to newer VFDs, multi-stack chillers. I have a lot of higher end Train, which I like Train, and other things like that. We do a lot of higher end control service and things like that. I just love to do everything. Believe it or not, we also, which I haven't gotten any footage of it yet because we just invested in it. But in addition to all that, we do full service and construction plumbing, and also I also clean sewers and drains, video inspections, line locating. We just invested on that equipment, so we're going to start getting into that. And also I dabble in sheet metal for transitions and stuff. I'm definitely no sheet metal artisan, trust and believe. But I know enough and learned enough and have a couple breaks, and I'm able to make transitions and Pittsburghs and all that stuff. Just for my own stuff. I have no intention on ever installing ductwork. Not my thing. But anywho, so gonna head home and get something to eat and start again early tomorrow for more fun.